Welcome to episode 10.
Double digits.
Big 1-0. High five on that. To Renovation Diary, a podcast where a boy and a girl.
It's official, guys.
A boy and a girl
share our feelings
about renovating our kind of like our renovation journey. We recently bought a house last year, end of last year. And
we're coming up on close to 1 year.
We're finally taking time. We were able to save up some money and to just kind of jump into and renovate our house ourselves versus hiring somebody else to do it. A classic fall in love boy meets girl story of us wanting to do it versus somebody else.
We got this.
And obviously we make content around it and things like that. So
here we are back for another week to give you guys an update on what we've done in the past week. And
if you see me doing something like this,
the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes are out.
Yeah. Side note, I don't know where you guys live, but we have black flies and mosquitoes, and they all come out at the same time. And
I want to know,
based on where we live in this town.
How?
I don't know. Based on where we live in this town, we have the mosquitoes. People on the other side of town have black flies. It's the weirdest thing.
I want to know if there's a place on Earth where there is no mosquitoes, no black flies.
Yeah, do you guys get both?
No.
I don't know where. I think what happens is
I punched them in the face.
No, the wind, when you go like this, it pushes them.
Listen,
I think.
I'm like a 50% shooter.
Moose
with that,
will get him because somehow Moose snuck out of his room. I set him up upstairs. I put
Why
the
don't you
TV
close
on.
The door, though?
I do. I think I don't think I hear I don't click it. I set up the TV for him so he's nice and comfy. Anyways, so this last week we had some big things. We did the garden, which wasn't. First of all, I don't know if anyone watches Misha's stories, but I asked Misha to build me some garden beds, and he took it upon himself to build a garden, not just garden beds.
Listen,
he got the stone, the soil, everything, which was, you know what, I'm not going to complain because it's beautiful. We have some flooding issues there. We have bad luck with water. Let me just start off by saying that.
Yeah.
You'll see. You'll hear why.
Well, our kind of, where we live, no, Moose. Where we live, it's kind of on top of a mountain, but there's a little kind of flat area on top, and then it kind of runs off into the actual lake.
I think we're at the bottom almost.
No,
Red Hill.
But we drive up Bean Road, and then but there's a lake to the right.
I guess we're on the down.
Yeah, so it's there's just a flat area. There needs to be some Frenching going on.
Lots of Frenching.
All around our property to just drain it better. We need to rent another excavator.
I think Misha just finds problems to rent machinery.
Yeah, so the garden, that happened.
And it looks great. We have some cucumbers. No, we have broccoli. We have Brussels sprouts, some beets, some strawberries, bought a berry bush. We're good. Yeah,
so, straight up that took 2 days realistically to do it, but a lot of effort. And it was one of those things where I guess the plants had to get out of there, or had to get out there.
They were getting too small for their pots, so I didn't want them to rot, and that can happen. I joined a garden group on Facebook. That's where I'm getting all my information from, so if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah.
And then the work on the basement, we did a little more framing.
We did a framing there.
And Misha decided to finally tackle, which I understand why he was dreading it, a messy, larger project to get the bathroom, so we could start to frame out the bathroom.
So previously in this basement there was a bathroom, and obviously because the septic is above the basement line, the slab line, there had to be a sewer ejection pump. So it's basically this big 50-gallon bucket thing where the stuff from your toilet goes into.
It's level with the ground.
So it's it's underneath your slab, and the bucket, this huge bucket, the stuff goes into it, and there's this pump that and spits it out into the actual septic. And so that's the pump, and it's been here for however many years this basement bathroom has been here, which seems like a lot. And it was a mess because the lid on it was gone, and the guy or the person before here used some type of foam and silicone and
duct tape.
It was a big mess. it smelled like it like leaked before it smelled. So then like we knew this was going to be a problem, and I don't know. I had like an off day mentally where like I didn't. Really,
it wasn't even like we're very overwhelmed right now, and that's something like I think would be a good conversation to have for this podcast. But yeah, so you opened it up and what?
I opened it up and it was a mess. So it honestly, okay. It went faster than I thought, but it was worse than I expected. If that makes sense.
We were hoping for.
Yeah, it actually came out in like probably all in took us like an hour and a half maybe.
I feel like less. But yeah.
An hour and a half, I think, all in is what it took for us to take that big, huge thing out of there. But then that unveiled yet another problem that we now have to, like, that was basically a big can of worms.
What's the other problem?
So our basement does not have a sump pump. It does not have a sump pump. And typically a basement in our area should have a sump pump. For any water that might be beneath your slab, under your slab, needs to be ejected out of there so your slab is not damp and doesn't have any of that stuff. So when we pulled this ejection pump out, the sewer ejection pump, that hole started to get filled with water. So the whole hole is like 36 inches deep. Right now there's like 10 inches until it gets to the top of the slab.
It's slowly filling up throughout the day.
So there's like over 20 inches of water in that hole right now, and there's no way of getting it out. We can't.
Well, we can vacuum it out, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's not.
How long are you going to do that for?
Yeah, that's not something that's like designed to be done. So basically, which means that our groundwater table is way high. Which makes sense because our property is mush.
Yeah.
In the backyard. Our backyard, you step out, you go 10 feet, and you're in like kind of this mush land. So it makes, and there's no like drop in elevation from that. So which makes sense. But like this house was never designed to deal with that issue. I mean, and I'm literally, if you talked to me 3 hours ago about this, I didn't know all these words. Because I literally just like...
We've been really researching it. And
have we been researching
We have been.
Oh, true. You know, you did some today.
Yeah, back up.
I'm sorry.
Back up.
Take it back.
We have friends. We're lucky we have friends and can give advice and are a little more familiar with this. But yeah, here's my, like, when we were feeling overwhelmed, we're still overwhelmed. I think our energy is lower than it usually is. I'm sorry, but like mosquitoes and ticks seem to attract. Misha must give off a sweet odor or something. Because they really like you.
He got me, but I killed.
So it's too late. Whatever he did, he got. Anyways.
Shit, the other guy.
Yeah. So yeah, so like this is, I think, the problem that people run into is like they think they can tackle a project, and don't take this like I'm saying we can't do this, but they think they can tackle a project, and then some people get in head over, like way over their head, and then it's like, I guess the question is, and maybe this is a rhetorical question, is like, at what point do you know, like, call it quits, or like, how do you know? Like, here's a perfect example. Most of the stuff we're doing here, you know how to do, but like this, like, we didn't know there was going to be water in there, and no one else would have known there was water in there. So, like, what happens now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like the frustrating part is like we're saving a tremendous amount of money by doing this all ourselves. And I was trying to be mindful of that today when I was like pissed about this, and I was like, just call someone. But like to have someone do what you just did today, just this would have been a couple $100, if not $1,000. Just to do this, and then tell us, hey, I need to charge you more thousands to figure this out, and get an expert in to figure out your landscaping. You know what I mean?
Typically, when the other let's say a contractor does not know how to fix the solution, their solution is to just, hey, you got to go hire somebody else out, right. And like, you know, they just kind of pass the hot potato to somebody else.
Call me when it's done.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
You know, with these types of things, the issue is not the work itself, it's the lack of knowledge of what to do. So it's not that hard, because like now that I'm doing a little more research on this, like I'm figuring out how to solve this. Basically, we need a sewer ejection pump for all the stuff from the toilets and stuff. But next to it, we also need to have a sump pump. And it's a groundwater sump pump. not drainage system, basically, where we're going to dig a trench, which anyway, we have to dig a trench to go from our vanity sink all the way to our thing anyway.
What, we do?
Well, how is the water? Where's the water going to go?
You're right.
It has to drain in.
And it's not going to be raised. We want it level.
So
they had the bathroom raised up, and all the plumbing was underneath it.
Exactly.
So they didn't have to go into the foundation.
So we want it to be flat. So either way, we're going to have to do it. So we're probably going to have a 10-foot, like basically a little French drain, 10-foot French drain underneath it that will collect water around that area, drain it into that sump pump, and then eject it out. I mean, it's. And then when we're going to be working outside, because this issue underneath, it's really only happening.
Yeah, you're like, land on me, please. I don't think you got it because of the wind.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, gross. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anyways, so.
You see them, you call them out.
Yeah, let them know.
Call out my 6.
Let them know. So, yeah, so. Something interesting with Misha too is like he gets very overwhelmed, but and maybe this is a issue too that we could run into a problem later. Is like Misha always finds a solution, which kind of sucks because then I'm like I don't worry as much. I'm like Misha will figure it out, which I feel bad, like I do. But you always find a solution. You're still overwhelmed. I'm not trying to take away that, but so yeah, isn't that interesting though? Like, do DIYers not do stuff in fear of what's behind the walls? Like, we didn't know the foundation crack was there. Inspectors didn't even see that. How were they supposed to see it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a wall up there, so they had no idea.
So I'm saying, like, a DIYer says, oh, I can easily, a DIYer, or a tile setter that's not into framing, or whatever, a roofer that wants, whatever, comes in here and says, oh, I can easily knock these walls down and frame it out, and then they see that. Like, you know what I mean? How do you know when you get into something like this, like, is there ever a time when like someone like you would call it quits? Like you open up something, you find something too big.
Yeah.
This right here.
No, I mean I'm starting to like research. So like our temporary fix in a way for this is going to be to add like a 10-foot French drain just to kind of suck up that area and keep it dry. Because the issue is like if there's a high water table like that and we put our sewer ejection pump into it, it will just push it right out of the water. Just basically like you're trying to fill a cup of like an empty cup of air, right? You're putting in the tub or
trying
something.
to put the balloon under the water.
Yeah, so it'll force it up, and then so we need to have no water there. But the bigger issue is that there is water under there, right? So it's like, how do you keep that away? And that to keep the water from getting under the house is you have to get those French drains on the sides of the house done right, and we know that they're not done right because we had flooding on the other side. Well,
yeah, and I think the French drain ended before all of this, or like they tried, but I mean, I don't know. So yeah, and we're tight on a budget because we wanted to get as much framing as we could get done. So when the electrician comes in, he has work to do. Like he's gonna come back either way, but we didn't want him to show up and only put in 2 outlets and 2 can lights. Like that's just a joke. And so it's always funny, like when you post these things online, and people will, at least in the stories, they'll say like, "Oh, you need to regrade your property," and I'm like, "Cool, all right, that's it." Like great, I'll just regrade my entire property, or like, great, like like we basically whatever budget and savings we have for this basement would literally have to go into fixing the outside if we wanted to have the outside fixed before we do anything inside. And it's just not realistically of what we're going to do. Well, it's also like when you're doing projects, whether you're hiring someone or doing it yourself, like I think having a budget or a set cap is like super important because like it could get out of control. Like any project you do in the house, even if you do a project and nothing else happens, like we've done this with bathrooms where we come in and just do the shower, and you know how many people are like, oh, now I have a new shower, I want a vanity. So imagine you redo a kitchen and then you have an outdated bathroom, so it's like, I think it's important to, prioritize. I would argue a little bit with that, to just say like that, yes, you need to have a budget, but at the same time, it can't be like, this is our budget, there's not $1 extra that we can spend. Like and for emergencies or there's a crack in the wall, there's an extra $500 that we're going to be spending on that. You have to do that, and imagine if you don't have that,
then something else has to give on the backside of it, which sucks. Whatever. It's one of these things where, like, honestly, today I was so demotivated.
Oh my God, I wanted to, like...
Give me a hug?
No, I didn't want to give you a hug. So we're standing down here, and I'm trying to tell him, like, focus on one area over the other, block the other area out. And he's just standing there, like, I don't even know. I feel bad because you were, like, so in your head. And you're just standing there. I'm like, just get some framing up on this wall so we can focus on this later. And then Misha's like, well, I'll just take out this ejection pump.
All right, so my mind today, mentally, was just, like, one, we had this weekend basically was a massive effort outside of, like, the garden and all that stuff. It was physically hard to do all that stuff. And then Sunday, I went and played soccer for 2 hours, which I loved, and it was the best thing ever for me mentally. But at the same time, I haven't played soccer in like 10 months, so my body right now is just destroyed. And then just kind of getting right back into it, I just wasn't feeling it today. And when we kind of got down, it's like I just wasn't firing at all.
It was hard. Yeah, it was hard to get motivated today for sure.
I wasn't really firing all cylinders. So then I was like, okay, what can I do where it just needs to be a turn your mind off and then like do it.
You said an easy win, and I don't know.
It's an easy win. It's an easy win in the mind of like a time that it took, I guess. Because either way, to deal with that crap, literally, you had to kind of go into like out of body experience.
Oh my gosh.
To just not even know what you're working with. Just be like, this is just stuff. I'm just going to deal with it.
Alex and I had those like super big masks on. It was awful down here.
Yeah, because we're using a shop vac to empty out this bin. Or this,
you have
whatever,
to. How are you supposed to carry? You have to cut the box up.
It was so tight in there, like because it was cemented in, that we were basically like prying on the sides, reaching in, using a sawzall to cut it into pieces.
You can't have liquid everywhere.
Until we shop vacked everything out, and then kind of be able to cut the bottom like in half and pull it out in pieces. So it was definitely one of those things, and now it's done.
It is done, and we just have to figure out the water. Water has been. That's what I'm saying. Water.
We might have to we might have to redesign the sewer ejection pump
closet
because now we're gonna have two things there.
But you know what? Isn't it funny? I remember when we first looked at this house. Didn't we both came down here and we said like, oh, there's no sub pump, and you were like, I thought Basin Side had a sub pump, and I don't know who we were walking down here with, either the realtor or an inspector or something, and they're like, oh, not always. Remember? You don't remember that?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weird.
Or maybe we thought that was the sump pump when it wasn't.
Maybe.
And that's the issue. And it was definitely a sewer ejection pump because there was no other holes in it to kind of...
It was because the toilet went into it. Yeah. If there was just a pump to go out, then yes, it would be a sub pump.
Yeah, but you need an inlet of... Like, you need a way for the water to get into that bucket. So there needs to be a drain tied into it, and it never had a drain there. So we're going to figure this out. Like either way, like it's honestly not that hard if you know what you're doing, and I'm learning of what to do. It's not like we know what we're doing, but we're learning to do that. So that was one thing. Another thing is the fireplace.
Yeah, we changed the plans on the fireplace, which is kind of I think Misha and I think in the beginning we weren't necessarily on the same page. Like we both had different ideas. Like they were both good. We just but I think we found one that we really like. I'm excited about the space over there, the storage.
That really cool thing right there.
Yeah, that's super cool thing, guys. Oh my gosh,
freaking sick.
No, there's like
is so cool.
An inset
a little nook area.
That was a closet. We took the closet out. We're gonna try to make it look like a built-in in that area. So we're gonna keep the fireplace. I think people will be excited because originally we were gonna board it up. And I think people were like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was one of these things where we were like, okay, let's put a wall across.
An easy thing out. But here's the other thing. It's like, it's not a pretty fireplace. It's not brick. It's cinder blocks. And then they had brick around it that we took off that wasn't sturdy anyways. If we wanted to keep it brick, we would have had to rebuild it. Yeah. So it's not like we could put like I guess we could put new brick on it, but that's not the...
But I guess our original thought was to just put up a wall and then be done with it. Like, just literally close it up, and then, it'll be a little gift surprise that somebody down the road will discover one day. Be
excited. Yeah, that would be kind of funny, though.
But...
Leave a note in there.
But then at the same time, our, creative
We're like,
design,
we can do more with this
I'm
than
like,
just.
yeah, this is a cop out a little bit.
I think it's like an
Really
easy
good
way
here.
out, like you said. So that's why we're kind of like, we need to do something fireplace-esque.
What are options?
So a fireplace of some sort. You know, we talked about electric.
Heating source.
An actual fireplace, which I think it needs to be updated, but like it works. An electric fireplace or a gas fireplace. I think the gas fireplace is out the door because you need gas and electric for that, and that's just a pain in the butt. So we're gonna keep the fireplace, and then we're gonna do the actual fireplace in something other than just drywall. And I don't think we're gonna do tile because we're gonna have to tile the floor given how uneasy it is. So something warm.
Yeah.
Bring some texture.
We might just try to go electric fireplace, right?
I think so.
Basically. Well, I mean, we don't have the exact one or whatever, but it's just literally you can just hardwire it right in.
You can. We've talked to some experts.
And that's kind of it. So like in the sense of like the materials that can't be close to it, it's literally just like a big heater that you have.
I was reading when we decided this. I started to do more research, and there's some pretty good positive things about electric fireplaces. Like they're actually a lot safer than any other type of fireplace.
Yeah, I mean the fact that there's no live fire,
Right?
It's the
Yep.
I mean it's the biggest one, and that's the reason because this was a functioning wood burning fire.
Yeah, there was wood that was like partially burned.
But we're like, who the hell is gonna we're not gonna do this in our basement.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of an overkill for something like that we wanted to have, but I think the reason they even had that is because of the fireplace upstairs. So they had to build a base for it to go downstairs.
So they're like, why don't we just do two?
Yeah, you might as well just poke a hole in it, you know?
I mean, look at the brick around it. There's brick around just where the fireplace is. So they must have, I feel like it must have been a little bit of an afterthought.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I'm excited about that. That we're going to keep it, do something fun with a fireplace, an actual fireplace.
Me too. And so this week, again, we're going to see what we can do. I mean, tomorrow I'm probably just going to have to open this up more and figure out that whole situation and see the potential for that. And then our
goals are still to try to do as much framing as possible, though. Which we still have to figure that out.
Well, that's what sucks. It's like I'm like, okay, I need to do framing, right? Great, cool. I need to do framing, but where our wall needs to go
it's
for
like
the
right
framing
there,
is on top of the pump that was there.
And we really we need that space because it's not a big basement, and we want to make sure that we're not closing up too many walls and making it too small. But we definitely, I think the value of having a bathroom down here is huge. Yes. Like, I don't think there's another, I hate to say that, I thought briefly in my head, maybe we just don't do a bathroom down here and we just close this all up. But I think the value for us and the value for this house in the future to have a second bathroom is
because we only have one bathroom upstairs, a full bath upstairs, and that's it. So for a family, ideally, I'd love to have my own little room.
Yeah? Is that what it is? Just a Misha bathroom?
With good Wi-Fi in it.
An outlet. Right next to the toilet. But yes, we're trying to think about future of this home and where it will be. It needs to have this other bathroom.
So we're doing that, and then this weekend we're traveling. So that's kind of sucks.
I know.
It's everything happening, again.
Do you want to just cancel?
Huh? What, the travel?
No.
Tickets are bought.
We're going to a funeral. It's not that,
A burial.
No. No one's being buried. There's.
I'm saying, this happened,
A funeral is still. It doesn't.
Okay.
A funeral is still a funeral.
I guess, but it's
Is it called something different when you do it a couple months after they've passed? I'm asking them.
Yeah, it's cremated versus a body.
That doesn't change it whether it's a funeral or not.
Well, let's say I'm going to a funeral. I'm thinking I'm about to see a dead body.
No, that's just, I don't know, Ukrainians. A funeral just means you're going, I think, to celebrate that person's life.
A funeral party.
I think that's really truthfully what, I don't know. I mean, we could be completely wrong, but I think a funeral is just whatever.
You're probably right.
Anyways.
6 feet, you got to bury that thing 6 feet under.
What is happening? Don't get dark on me.
I'm supposed to play golf, so I'm fine. I got to practice this week a little bit.
But anyway, so we're in a kind of a bit of a ditch right now, just mentally, but we're gonna dig ourselves out.
A French drain.
Misha is really good at letting himself sulk, which I think is important, mentally, and then you're we're getting after this, which is great because I couldn't do it. Like, I'd just be like, I was ready to call someone. Like, I don't know who, but I was like, that's it.
Well, that's the problem. Like, if we have to tackle these things, the unexpected things, we have to fix them ourselves. You're lucky. We have to fix them ourselves because we'll blow through our budget, and that's just the hard.
We have a lot we want to do to this house. So
it's great. Let's dump everything we have into this basement, and then we're not going to touch the upstairs where we live. Like, you know, so we can't. So it's like, all right, like, just suck it up. He's like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah, no, he's like, water. Oh, drink this. Come here.
So we're hoping that next week we'll have better updates for you guys.
Yes, some more good updates, and yeah, that's it.
We enjoy you guys, and I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry if the energy was a little lower. You know, we're just humans, and
we can have an off week.
Well, yeah, we try our best. But yeah, last week we talked about college, and there were some good comments. Just to touch on the comments really quick, some people agreed with us. There was one person that actually said, I didn't go to school and tried the trades, hated it, and then I went back to college. But I think that's so cool.
It's
like,
an option too, yeah.
Do either one, you know?
See, like that, in that scenario, it's like you went to college because you wanted to go to college.
Yes. So the experience might have been
one of these things where, like, high schools would just vomit these kids out of them and just make you. I mean, we had a class. It was social studies. No, it was something else. Where, like, your thing was sign up for or like register for 5 colleges. It's like,
I know.
What if we like they're literally making? They were like in our school. They were making you like register.
Yeah, for when we went to school, we had to apply to 4 schools. I think it was a minimum.
Yeah, but it's like, who the fuck are you to tell?
And then, like, application fees are like $80. So, or 100, or 120 per school. That's what I'm saying. So, like, parents who are on a tight budget as is, you know what I mean, dropping $300-400.
Think about Harvard. How many people apply to Harvard? Like, I think it's like 150,000 people apply to Harvard times $150 a person. They're making decent, like, for registration fees. They're making good money just freaking denying people.
Jesus.
You know? Whatever.
But yeah, so yeah, that's a topic that I think we could talk about for a while.
Yeah, I think I'd love to actually dive into going into the trades versus, like, I mean, we just talked crap about college. Like,
but
we didn't talk
we could talk about good stuff about college too. Not that we have much
True.
to say, but yes, I agree.
Look, I got bit twice. You see that in the same spot?
Oh, look at that
spot. Oh my god. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.
Hey, wait, no. If you watch this whole thing through, I got a good one. You have to put the bucket of water emoji.
Oh, the little blue bucket thingy?
Yeah, because you're stupid.
If you are watching this still,
with this type of energy we're vibing with.
That's pretty cool.
I know. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Cheers.
Max. I like that. Maybe that's not anything.
Our sign out.
Peace.